Welcome, everybody. Today is another Q&A session in Land Investing for Professional Millennials. Damn, I can't speak. Another Q&A session for the Land Investing for Professional Millennials Facebook group. So I have two guests coming on. Don't know what they're going to ask. I will find out soon. So let me get them the link. But if you guys want your questions asked, you want your deals critiqued or anything like that, by all means, please let me know. I enjoy doing these. Sometimes it's better just to get in there with you guys and help out wherever I can instead of just lecturing to you guys. Sometimes you guys need to lecture. Let's be honest. Like, you need lessons. You need to understand what's happening. But it is what it is. So first we have Patrick Walters coming in. Hello, Patrick. How are you? You probably can't hear me yet. You're still connecting with audio. There we go. Can you hear me? Patrick,
can you hear me? Yeah, Victor, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, man. How are you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Good. So we'll have one other person joining us, but in the meantime, this is your time, man. You answered the post first. So whatever questions you have, I'm at your disposal.
Okay, I had two questions. One, picking an area. You know, I got a couple successes in one state, and now I'm excited. I want to conquer the world, but I want to make sure I scale myself gradually. Mm-hmm. What do you think? One county, one state, or a couple counties in different states?
Well, first, let me ask you this. That first success you had, like, you went full cycle where you bought and sold a property?
Yes.
Okay. How long did that whole cycle take?
1 to 2 months.
Okay. No, that's pretty good. And how many offers did you send out to get that deal?
See, that was different. I totally went through the realtor. I sent out mailers. I got the accepted offer over the phone, opened up title, and a realtor handled the rest of the transaction.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have to go through that marketing
well, you
phase.
sent out a mailer. How many did you send out though to get that? It was.
I was getting about a deal for every 1,000 mailers. I was getting a deal.
Okay, I think that's pretty good. Now, when you sent that out, you said you get the deal. Now, were you getting a lot of other responses that just didn't turn into deals, or was it like the one person from that one per 1,000 that actually hit you up was the one person you actually bought the property from?
Yeah, my response rate wasn't good. So I'd say maybe about every 500, every 1,000, I'd get about maybe four calls, one accepted offer and 3 hate calls, and the rest were a bunch of several hundred return mailers.
Got it. Okay. And with that workload, with that volume, how was it for you kind of keeping things straight? Like, are you taking those return to senders, you doing something with it and all that, or do you only basically deal with people who accept your offer?
Yeah, I'm getting more organized now. I kept all of my return mailers. I have them all scanned, and I got a VA over in the Philippines, so I'm gonna work out a system where once a month I send all those return mailers to the batch skip tracing for new addresses, mm-hmm. and then do a second mailer on those.
Okay.
So I'm getting more organized. First goes proof of concept, but now okay. I'm also switching because the first mailer was cash flips, mm-hmm. but now I want to focus on terms for the passive income.
Okay,
so that's going to be different because I can do more myself.
Oh, you're breaking up a bit. You're turning robotic. So last thing I heard was that you want to focus on terms and things are going to be different. That's all I heard.
Yeah. So the first deals were cash flips, mm-hmm. and I went through title, and so that was minimal work on my end. I want to focus but that not go too tall and more in the marketing myself. So that's what I need to learn on.
Oh, got it. Okay. You were breaking up, but I think I understood. Now, first, to answer your original question, and I have a follow-up question. It seems that you at least have the capacity or the workload to do more. So what I always recommend is this: 3 different areas, very distinct and different areas, so they're not necessarily competing with one another. And in likelihood, when one area is kind of slowing down, another area can be picking up. So let's say you have something in Oregon, something in Texas, and something in, I don't know, Minnesota, right? 3 random places, right? 3 different markets. And if you're advertising a property in Oregon, it's not going to cannibalize sales and leads and everything from your other properties, and vice versa. And then obviously, if the Oregon market is picking up, there's a good chance that if the other markets are slowing down, it's kind of like teeter-totter. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
it does.
So that's what I'll always recommend. Now, 3 markets can be a lot depending on the volume and the type of properties you're going for. For example, if you're like me, I take anything and everything I get my hands on. That's a lot because you're sending out more mailers and you're getting a lot more responses coming in. And a response doesn't necessarily mean like, oh yeah, I want to do business with you. It could be like, who is this? What do you mean my taxes aren't paid? Well, it's not my property anymore. It's my grandpappy's, all of that. So if you do have a system to keep yourself organized, then yeah, 3 counties. Now, if your system is weak, and if as soon as you up the mailing amount, it's going to be tough, then I don't recommend it. First, get that system in place. It's not also just about the volume, but it's about keeping everything straight. So if you're doing 3 different counties, you got to have a way to have everything kind of distinct and understandable. So if you're just relying on people giving you their name, right? I don't know. Wait, when you're actually sending out offers, is it through an offer letter? Is it through a postcard? Is it through text messaging? What do you do?
An offer postcard.
Okay, great, great. So I do a postcard as well. And then when you do the postcard, is there like a reference number or ID or something to keep things straight, or you just rely on them giving you their name?
No, yeah, I just started doing that a couple months ago, putting a reference code on it, so I
Okay,
am able
great.
to look it up when they call back.
Perfect, perfect. I've been doing that for a long time. It works out well. So since you have that, I would imagine that reference code maps to the data you're looking for, be it the owner, the property they own, et cetera, pretty easily, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so you're in a position now that it seems that your systems are ready to be tested if they haven't been already with your first county. So doing more mailing and understanding that should be okay. Now, what you may find is actually when you start getting more scale and more mail coming in and more responses, it wouldn't be your organization system that starts to break down. It's your willingness to actually do more work. So that's just going to be more of a discipline thing. And if you find out like you don't want to do it, you already have a VA in the Philippines, you may expand their role or hire somebody else to kind of help with the onboarding and the negotiation where you're only approving deals or declining deals after they've negotiated on your behalf. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's what I enjoy. I enjoy doing the closing the deal, but I just don't enjoy any of the back end paperwork.
There you go. There you go. So it seems that, yeah, I think you're ready to do 3. I always say 3, have them in 3 different areas. You definitely don't want 2 counties in the same state. If you do, I will count that as one area, to be honest, in my opinion. Granted, sometimes 2 counties in the same state can be just as different as 2 counties across the country. So I guess your mileage may vary, but 3 areas, hopefully they're all distinct. Hopefully if one area is down, the other areas are picking up. You don't want 2 areas in the same state, because often, at least in my experience, if a county A is doing bad or starting to slow down and county B is in the same state, they'll also have similar issues at the similar time. So, usually I try to avoid that, but sometimes it's not the case. But yeah, get 3 different areas, mail them all, and then be prepared to take those deals.
Yeah, my only concern was the learning curve with different states, rather than just sticking to one state and doing a bunch of counties.
Right.
Because I'm able to pull lists for free. I can pull this, so the list isn't the issue. It's just yeah. I mean, I understand going through different areas. I just don't want to get too saturated. We're pulling too many lists, sending out too many mailers, and getting. I guess overwhelmed would be a good thing, but.
Right. Well, it depends on you. That's why I said, like, it's not going to be your systems. It's going to be what can you handle.
Right.
What I've noticed though, a lot often we can handle more than we want to do. And overwhelm is a thing, but that's also a sign that you're actually being pushed and it's an opportunity for growth. Now, some people shy away from those opportunities. Other people, like, they rise to the challenge. Now, for me, well, let me ask you this. What is your income goal?
10,000 passive income.
10,000 via passive income. So you're trying to do terms. And what type of term monthly payments are you looking at?
This is all new to me. So, so I have a full-time job, so it's not relying on this to stay afloat. But the goal is to use my land investing to make passive income to grow my main business.
Okay, got it.
So 10,000 is just a number. But anything as long as I'm in the positive would, I'd be happy with.
So for 10,000, depending on what your monthly payment is, it could be a lot. So for per month, let's just say we had 10 properties, that's $1,000 payment. Depending on the area, that might be a little too rich for your blood. Let's say you had 20 properties, that's $500 roughly per. That's my minimum for a terms payment. So to get 20 properties, and so that means you're sending what, 20,000 offers out at your current acceptance rate?
Yes, yeah, I'm looking at doing the desert squares at about $150 a month term payments.
Got it.
So I mean, yeah, 10,000. That's not. I'm not expecting that right away. But that's
no, I'm just saying. But
goal.
Overall, you're going to need 20 properties if that's like the lowest payment. If they all pay $500 a month, if you're doing the desert squares, they're going to be paying $100. You're going to be chasing them down a lot. Like they're in my opinion, I avoid them because they're a big pain in the ass. Because that's what I started with. But a lot of people do make money with them, so I'm not going to say don't do it. But if you want passive, in my opinion, that is not passive because you're going to have to keep chasing these people down.
Yeah, well, my reason for the desert squares was for the low cost of the initial property purchase.
Oh, got it. Well, you can still get good property prices for places that aren't desert squares, because that's the thing. Like when you're doing those desert squares, you're a commodity at that point. Everybody has what you have, and now you're it's a race to the bottom. And if you're trying to make a nice passive income like that, having a race to the bottom doesn't actually help you in that endeavor. This is why I always recommend staying away from those areas. At least I wouldn't base all of my investing there just for that reason. But your ability to negotiate or have someone to negotiate on your behalf is going to be key. That way you don't have to worry about that. Because again, the desert squares, you're not going to be getting a ton of passive payments. Like again, most people who want those areas, they're paying you $100 a month, $200 a month, $250 a month. And now you're going to have even more and more property to do. That's more people to keep up with. That's more things to deal with, as opposed to having something a little easier where it's like, all right, I just only have 5 or 10 properties because they're paying me a lot more per month.
Yeah, I guess I need to, like I said, I'm brand new to the terms area. So there is, I guess, a different philosophy, going where the crowd is or going where the herd is, or finding a whole new area. Seems like you found a whole new area that is able to do the higher monthly term payments.
Got it.
I'm not there yet to find that niche yet. So, but you know what? I'm excited. It's proof of concept's there. Proof of concept is there for the cash flips. Now I just need to get the proof of concept of moving into these areas that are already where the herd is, and proving that I can get deals there also.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I like the cash flip because I can get this, well, I like to call it escape velocity. And that's why my program is called Escape Velocity, because right now you're just using that money to invest in your business. And that's great. So it's not like a rush to get away from a 9-to-5 like I was. But when I was doing a lot of terms deals, I wasn't able to like get enough to actually leave my job when I needed it or invest in other properties. So, but it seems like you already have a plan and you're ready to go. So hopefully that helped. I'm gonna jump to Joyce real quick and I can come back to you if you have any other questions. Joyce, are you there?
I am, yes.
Okay, so
How you doing, Joyce?
Oh, I have laryngitis. I can't speak too well.
Oh, sorry about
I went,
that. Do you
I
want to
went
just
to
type your
face.
question in?
Well, that's why I went to Facebook. I was going to be in listen mode only. But
Okay.
I'm actually a beginner and I was listening. I'm sort of overwhelmed. I did do a mailing and I got some offer requests, but when I sent out offers, I didn't get much of a response. I got responses from some properties that really were not good. They were things that people bought in Arkansas from the commissioner of sales, and they all seemed to be problem properties.
What do you mean by problem properties?
Like one of them was landlocked and it was behind a bunch of homes.
Mm.
And when I spoke with someone who lived there, I called the neighbors to see who would want to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And one gentleman told me he worked for the state and it was behind the houses and it dropped down. That's why it wasn't appended to any property. And it was like a cesspool, so to speak, get all the garbage collected there. So that was one. The other I got from also Arkansas, one of those commissioner of sales. The man wanted a lot of money for it and he wouldn't budge.
Mm.
And another one, there was a property on it. So the person next to it was encroaching on the property.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
so they were they were good luck, but no cigar.
Got it. No, that was pretty close. Like the obviously the one on the cliff into a cesspool. Yeah, we avoid that. Now, is there a person out there in the world that may buy it? Perhaps, but you have to sell it for super cheap.
Yeah.
So I know you don't want this property, but let's just say you did for the sake of argument. A property that's so undesirable like that, those are the ones that you get for under $100. Like, hey, I'll buy it, but you know, you're basically giving it to me for free. You're just signing it over to me, and I'll take it. And then from there, you can probably still make money for it, selling it to the right person. The right person could be the city or the county. It could be a neighbor. But in this situation, it doesn't seem like there'll be a lot of takers. And to be honest, it'll be way too much of a hassle to sell, as you already concluded. But if you ever find something similar where it's not as desirable, but not totally useless, get it for under $100. So now your risk is minimal or free.
Yeah.
Your risk is minimal. And like, if you can sell it, great. If not, oh well. And even if you can sell it, if you get it for $100 and you sell it for $200, you doubled your money. Right.
Yes.
Obviously, you know, doing a transfer and all that costs money. So it wouldn't be free money, but you get the point.
Well, separate from that, I'm a little overwhelmed. Mixing automation with actually doing, the things that you need to do and then having to automate it. I don't have a very strong system, which I need.
Okay, well, why don't you tell me, what are you trying to automate right now?
What am I trying to automate? Certain things I have automated, but when I have to go to the computer, I always get a little fouled up. But my biggest question is really, to select a county and maybe go after something. Do you recommend blind offers or neutral letters?
I always recommend an offer range. So in the way I teach things, you do a little bit of a research up front. And that research up front will just kind of give you an idea, where are people looking to buy property? So I just act as if I'm a regular consumer, right? I'll go on Zillow, I'll go on Redfin, I'll go on LandWatch, and I'll see like, hey, where can I buy property for a certain price? And that price would be how much I'm looking to make off a single investment. So I can go through this with you real quick. How much are you looking to invest currently?
And how much am I looking to invest?
Yeah.
I'd like to start off small. I would, could you get properties for $1,500 to $3,000?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So what I'm about to do in a moment is share my screen, but you're in the sweet spot, especially when you're first starting out, in my opinion. 1,500 to 3,000, I do those all day long. I do a ton of those deals. So let me share my screen real quick. Can you see my screen with the Zillow?
Yes.
Okay, great. So what I do is I'll let's just say I'll look at a place I looked at earlier today, right? And for what I'm looking at is, okay, where are people looking for property? So right now, if I see there's a listing here, it was price reduced by $1,000. It's for 6,500. Automatically, I'm dividing that offer, or excuse me, that retail price for around 3 or 4. So this person probably bought the price between that price range that you're looking into. I'll click on the ad and I'll look to see how many views. Look how many views there are. There's a ton of views. A lot of people are interested in this property for this price. I'm like, okay, good to know. What about this property? It's a 1.34 acres, 183 views in the last 30 days. A lot of people are interested in this price. This is also within your range. 7,000 divided by 3 or 4 is around that $1,500 to $3,000 range, right? Actually, it's less than that, but you get the point.
Gotta call you back.
Right? So all I'm doing is just kind of casually seeing what are the regular consumers looking at. After a while, if I don't like what I see, or I'm just curious to see what other areas are looking well, I'll remove the boundary, move the map a bit, let this right side populate and just do the same kind of mental math. $5,000, I'm buying this for about $1,500. Look at all the views for the last 30 days. It's been on the market for 194 days, a little more than I like, but it's not terrible, right? So I just take a mental note. Okay, Deep Gap, North Carolina seems to be good. Lenore, North Carolina seems to be good. Let's see this $8,000 lot, which you're buying around $2,000, $3,000. 114 views. So these two areas, they tell me, like, if I find a property, I can buy it for roughly $2,500, $2,000, maybe $1,500, and I can sell for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And from there, that's where I'll start to pull my list. And I don't do a whole county. Notice I'm just doing a town. That helps me reduce the overwhelm because a smaller but more concentrated buyer's pool, or excuse me, seller's pool, and it's easier for me to give them an offer range that all makes sense.
Mhm.
Does that help you out?
Yes, yes. But now, as far as states go, do you look to stay away from attorney states and only work in title states?
To be honest, I go where the money tells me, but yes, I try to avoid attorney states. Now, a little known secret is, even though in attorney states, you can self-close. No one can tell you how you can and can't buy your own property or sell your own property. But obviously there's a lot more hoops to jump through if you're trying to do that, right?
Yes.
And then depending on the price of the property, having an attorney do all the paperwork, like, is recommended through the state, may not be that expensive. Just depends on the area, the property. It may not be that expensive, so your mileage may vary.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask a question on this topic?
Yes, please.
Now, when you're looking at Zillow, are you looking for the dollar range, or are you looking for a certain property minimum size?
Dollar range, because that's what talks. Now, as I'm looking at the dollar range, I will start to see some trends in like the sizes. So looking at what I have now here, this one is what, 10,000 square feet. This is half an acre, a little over half an acre, a little under half an acre, under half an acre, right? So you're starting to see an idea of the size. But then after you look at that, you start to look at the actual place. So this one's in West Jefferson. This one's in Banner Elk. This one's in West Jefferson. And you can start to see a little correlation between the town, the size, and the current market price. Does that make sense?
Okay, does that make sense? Right. So you don't favor like a certain, like a 1 acre sells better than a quarter acre.
Well, in my initial research, I don't care. When I start to dig in deeper, so let's say I like this area and I like Lenore, North Carolina, then I'm gonna look deeper into Lenore. I'm gonna look at the different list pulling things. I'm gonna look at anything I can find my hands on, like look at past sales, things of that nature, and get a good price per acre. And that's gonna tell me exactly what I want to know. Let's see. In fact, let's see. Can we see past sales here? Can we see past sales here? All right. I don't know why there's an echo, but it is what it is. Let's see. Newest. So this would kind of give these actual past sales that are reported on Zillow, give me an idea of price per acre and when they were sold. And then that will tell me, hey, which side to sell quickest, which side to sell the best. And that may be because of restrictions in the area, like, well, you can only build on a certain size, or you can only do X, Y, and Z if you have enough acreage. And that can just tell me, okay, this people are interested in property here, but it has to be a certain size, or they don't care. They could buy what they afford. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Any more questions from either one of you? Okay. Any more questions from either one of you?
Yeah, I have a second question. Oh, go ahead, Joyce.
No, that's okay. Go ahead. No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Criteria when pulling a list. I'm a realtor, so I get free access to title, and I pull my own list. I know usually people are using data tree or prop stream, so the filters are a little different.
Mhm.
Mine are more broad. Improvement. Do you leave it at 0? Do you not touch it and just put in the vacant, vacant land or vacant residential, residential, vacant miscellaneous?
All right. Yeah, I'm
How
gonna
do
mute
you-
you real
how do you
quick because
work
there's
it?
an echo.
Okay.
I muted myself. There we go. Okay. So when I'm going through prop stream or data tree, I'll always do vacant land of all types. I don't care if it's commercial or anything like that. So if you can't do vacant land by generalize it, yes, $0 improvement, because any improvement, there's a structure on the built on the property. Now there are times where that structure is like a barn or something that's not really that big a deal. But to just make things easier, no improvements. Because that way it kind of guarantees purely vacant land. Because even if it's something that's not that big a deal, that is something that you all have to contend with. Be it that someone has to worry about tearing it down or whether they can use it and what could, it's just much easier when it's just vacant land. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm with you. I just didn't want to lose options by targeting those properties that have the torn down house, just because it will be like a couple $100 improvement value, and I'll be skipping over it if I put 0.
Yeah, like in my experience, there's not a lot. Well, I guess it just depends on a lot of different areas, but there's not a lot of places where the like torn down or the houses that just kind of falling apart completely is still classified as has an improvement. But it could just be, I guess it could just be the places I've looked at. So now if you're able to have that granular and the data is that like specific, and like, okay, if as long as it's under like $500, it's something I can deal with, no problem, then by all means, add it to your list. Like you want as many options as possible. And if you're equipped to handle those things, then yeah, go for it. Me personally, I don't want the headache just in case it's something like, oh, I negotiated. I thought I was gonna be able to get rid of this thing easily. I can't. The people who are in the area, they don't want it because X, Y, and Z, right? So it's just one more thing I don't want to deal with, but plenty of people do deal with it. So if it's something you can do, yeah, go for it. Joyce, you had a question?
All right, thank you.
Joyce, you had a question?
No, no, I'm okay.
Oh.
I'm just under the weather, so I'm not up to it actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I do appreciate you jumping out.
Yeah.
It's been 30 minutes either way. So if you guys are all good, at least for now, we can end it right now. I you some great questions. I really do appreciate you guys jumping on, especially you, Joyce, battling laryngitis, and you came on to get your land investing knowledge upgraded a bit. So I think that's really cool, and it shows your fighting spirit. I appreciate you, Patrick, for asking all the questions and volunteering and stuff. So if anybody else have any questions, we can do this again next week. I love just helping out wherever I can. But other than that, unless you guys are good.
I look forward to hearing you at another time.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Victor.
Yep. All right, everybody. So if you guys want your questions answered, make sure you guys let me know. I'm here for you guys. So without further ado, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Keep going out there and making money. And I promise you, this business is about momentum. Just because you don't see the results today doesn't mean they won't come in tomorrow. Keep pushing, keep doing your thing every day. I promise you they will pay off. And if they're not, come talk to me. I'll help you make sure that they pay off. Other than
Thank
that,
you.
bye, everybody.